are live. We are live. Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. Welcome to the Holy Grail Games live chat for Museum Pictura. I am Georgina, and I am here with Olivier Melison, one of the two authors of the game. Tonight we are going to be talking to you about the project in general, how it was developed, because that was kind of your thing.
A little bit.
Yes, yeah, and then I'll talk about the campaign, which is my thing, and all of the content that we've unlocked so far, because we're doing daily unlocks for this particular Kickstarter campaign. So, off we go. So, Olivier, admittedly, we haven't actually managed to have you on one of our previous videos talking about the prototype. So, Museum Picture, where did the inspiration for the project come from? How did you...
We have started this project about 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
It was September 2018, something like this. And we have worked on the prototype during summer, and we went through a good prototype by the beginning of September.
Sure.
And we worked on it a long time, up to the end of December, where we had a good project at the end. So we played together, and we have decided it was valuable at the end, and it could be a good game at the end. So we have started the work. The artwork has been
about a year, hasn't it?
Beginning of January last year, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a big job, and all our thanks to Katerina Valima for doing such a great job.
Absolutely.
She has now finished everything that there is to do for illustrating the game.
Because it's 180 cards to illustrate it. It's a tremendous job, as Vincent Dutré did in the past.
Yes.
And it was a massive work.
Yeah.
And complicated at the end, because you really get bored.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you get bored by the end of your task.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, possibly even more so with this, because it's always paintings, obviously, and obviously Katerina Valimov didn't redraw every painting. It was really kind of setting them up. It was a setup, so
definitely we could, because it's a painting.
Yeah.
So we don't have any dimensions.
No.
It's really flat at the end.
So
the idea was bringing some setting up into the drawings, the illustration, to show the size of the paintings, how it looks like, how it is, because sometimes you have a bad view of what it looks like at the end. If you have the young girl and the
girl with the pearl earring,
at the end, it's a really small painting.
Yeah.
And you can't imagine, because most of the time you see it, on your computer or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't imagine the size of the painting. And the same thing for the Goya, the Revolution by Goya, which is a massive painting.
Yeah.
So the idea was to setting up and to show the size of the paintings, but also in the same way as we did for museum, to have the name of the paintings, the size, when it has been painted, and where you can have a view.
Where you can go and see it.
Absolutely.
We wanted to keep the same kind of historical, cultural accuracy of the first game.
It has been a mess to balance at the end, because we need to have, and we have 180 paintings, and we have 5 periods, 6 styles, which means that we have 30 authors. So everything must be balanced in every period, every style, and so on.
Yeah.
Which is complicated to find the right painting.
Wrangling the theme to fit the mechanics is difficult.
It's difficult.
You needed a certain number of styles and the periods, and then all of the artists within had to fit that. And obviously, you were telling me earlier when we were doing the French live that it's surprisingly difficult to find paintings of a religious style.
For the Impressionists, absolutely. It's complicated, because the religion is really easy to find, in the Renaissance, but very complicated in some of the theme. For example, the still life is complicated at the Renaissance, and you don't have this problem later, in some other periods. It was so complicated sometimes to find the right painting with the right author for the right style and the right period. So it has been a long time, and we wanted to have also to show some of the things from certain kind of author. It's really interesting to see, he did these kind of things. I didn't know. For the Blake one or the Gauguin, Gauguin we know quite well now, but for the Rococo period, which was not my really favorite period for me.
Sure.
But I've discovered some painters I didn't know on the quality of the things, and it was really a long job to manage this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just from my perspective, obviously I wasn't directly involved in the development of the game. That's down to you guys. But I am heavily involved in the translation and the working on the theme and the rule books and so on and so forth. And I learned a lot of stuff just from translating the cards. And obviously we've done like the artist spotlights during the Kickstarter campaign. So we're publishing like a couple of things every day about the different artists that are included in the game. You learn a lot. Sometimes you learn more than you wanted to.
Yes, and at the end we have used some database concerning paintings and sculptures, and it worked well to work with styles and so on, and to have the right one and so. Yeah. But sometimes you have several paintings on one topic, Leda and the Swamp.
Yeah,
no, the Swan,
yeah.
The Swamp.
Later on the Swamp.
No,
that's a different painting. Yeah, that's a different painting. She was the bar. That was later.
Later after the Swan. She was in the Swamp. So Leda and the Swan. There are several versions of the paintings from Da Vinci, but also from the School of Da Vinci. Yeah. So it was interesting to show the differences. Yes. And we have two Leda and the Swan in the Pictura. Yes. So sometimes we have chosen some paintings for the way they've been done, for the history behind the painting also.
Yeah, absolutely. So the illustrations on the cards are that what they aim to do is show the size of the paintings and sort of how it actually feels to stand in front of one. Because it's true, as we were saying earlier, sometimes you don't expect a painting to be as large as it is or as small as it is. I mean, I remember seeing the Mona Lisa at the Louvre in Paris and thinking, I did not expect it to be that size at all. It's surprisingly
especially small. If you have 50 person in front of you, you can't see anything. You say,
absolutely. It's usually surrounded by 50,000 tourists with selfie sticks, so it's difficult to get close to it. But it's so that's one of the things that we wanted to show. And all theme aside, mechanically, what you guys have come up with is something that is a really different gaming experience from Museum, the original.
It was at least the task that we went through. The idea at the beginning we thought because we worked during the production of the first opus of Museum. So we have decided with Eric to work on this new one, and meaning and complicated, because we wanted a game which looks like Museum. We can find some similar things. Yeah. The board. Yeah. The board. The central board.
The main look of the cards.
Absolutely,
similar.
The flavor cards. So we have a kind of flavor, a museum flavor. Yeah. But with different mechanics, different rhythm. Yeah. And to be more, close to the theme. Yeah. Yes. And we have worked on this, which was complicated because. It should have been, and I think it is a different game at the end.
It is. It's a very different game. And, for someone who's played probably, if we're being frank, more games of Museum than I would ever really want to. No offence. I've played that game a lot. I understand, You've played that game a lot. We've all played that game a lot. Yeah. But having now played quite a lot of games of this as well, it is a deeply different experience, and for me, in a good way. I really enjoy Museum Pictura, and obviously that's not just because I'm massively biased, but it is really something very different.
The tempo is completely different.
It is.
And it's really because you don't score completely differently from the first one.
Yeah, no.
You don't have any value on the painting. No. So at the end, in the first opus, you score depending on the value of your objects.
Yes.
So the more objects you are, the more score you get, and so on and so on.
Absolutely.
In this way, you don't have any value. No. So we have only three ways to score is the temporary exposition.
Yep.
You have the...
And the trend cards.
The trend cards. And the patrons.
Compared to the first Museum, it's you have a lot more possibilities of ways to score points, really.
Of course, yes.
Even some of the favour cards can score you points. You can do temporary exhibitions to score points. You can do obviously the patrons.
You have so many ways and different strategy in the beginning, the early game, the mid session, and the end game. It's completely different. Because,
it is.
While you are getting more and more paintings in your museum, you have an idea of what do you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't have any frustration. You have less frustration than the first opus because you have more cards from. I mean, it's normal. Yeah. In the first opus, you have 12 6th edition.
Yes.
So, which was really constrained to get the right one.
Yeah.
And it was our will with Eric to have to work on what you get.
Yes.
So you must do your museum with what you have found.
Yeah.
In this one, you don't have the same frustration because you get the card. Yeah. All the time you have the card you want to.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not 80% of the time you get the card.
You always have a way to get. You always have a way to get around any obstacles that happen to come in, and if you do need to change direction, it's easier than in the original game.
So you are in front of your choice.
Yes.
This is your choice, and if you make some mistakes, you pay cash.
Yeah. If you run out of cards,
Absolutely.
you have a way to get more cards. If you are missing something that you need, get something else. There are. Even if another player is going for the same thing as you, there's a way to get around.
It's not a problem.
No, it's...
we have done. A video together.
Yes,
and I think we were on the same period.
Yes.
And it's not a problem.
No, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem.
And with two players.
So it adds a little bit of competitive spice if you're both going for the same thing, especially for the temporary exhibitions, as you can only do one of each anyway. But it's not. You don't have that kind of immediate sort of blockage of, damn, he's doing the same thing as me, and now I have to...
He's taking my Romans! Yeah. Give me my Romans!
There's far less swearing and cursing at each other when you play Museum Pictura, for sure. So... That, obviously we've done a full video already about what makes Pictura different from the original museum. So
you have made the rules with Jimmy.
Yep, we have a full
and we have made a playthrough as well.
We have. So in theory, you guys already know everything that you need to know about that. That said, it's always interesting to have the author's perspective.
Of course, because it has been 2 years, 2 years development and 1 year production to work on this, roughly.
Yes.
For the first museum, we spent more time. It was our first game, so it's longer,
Well, there were only two of you working on it at the time. In terms of Holy Grail, Holy Grail had 2 people at the time.
Absolutely.
When Museum first started.
Definitely.
So, it was a much smaller team back then. Admittedly, there's still only 4 of us now, and you are not part of the company.
You are only four salaries in the company, so which is a small team, and we are doing well. I mean, we are happy with the May it's done.
Yeah.
But at the end, I'm not a salary of any grade.
No.
I have a job, and full-time job. And Eric as well, And so it's always complicated.
Yeah.
Even if we work a lot on our games, the first museum was our first game with many mistakes, probably. And game after game.
Yeah.
We have the experience. We have the experience in production. In terms of production, we have the experience in terms of game designing.
Yes.
Also, because it's a huge difference between playing games. I have several ideas about games. And making games.
Yeah.
Making games for all players.
Yes.
No, you know what I mean. Like writing rules, writing all the things. It's so complicated.
It is. It's very complicated. Yeah.
Every time you say. Someone say, no, it's not giving the answer I was waiting for.
Yeah.
So, yes, but so you have to give the answer to anyone, which is complicated. You have to give the good game experience, which is complicated. And now we are working much better with this.
Yes.
And we have some...
Yeah.
It's the experience at the end.
Yeah, well, this was a game that came together far more quickly and smoothly than the original game.
Of course.
Admittedly, we have a larger team now and more experience, as you just said, that helped it to do so. But I saw this for the first time a year ago. I am really happy with the way it looks and has come together now, and I also think the game is great. Obviously, I'm biased, but you can go and see the opinions of the reviewers and people who have taken a look at the prototype. I mean, it's looking good. The Kickstarter campaign is moving along nicely. Admittedly, it's a very competitive time on Kickstarter.
It's a complicated time.
It is.
Because we have so many at the same moment.
Yeah.
Due to the game by the end of the month, which is Frosthaven. And Kulmini with Ankh. So to avoid these two big companies, we have everyone has decided to do it at the beginning of the month.
So we've all kind of ended up crowded together, but
on our side, we are pretty happy with what we are doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our distributor are happy with this, and so we are. It's growing.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're still moving through the daily unlocks nicely. So we've unlocked quite a nice amount of content already. So we have some new favour cards. We've got some new patron cards coming. We have lots of goodies obviously lined up for you during the next few weeks. The first big thing that we've unlocked is solo mode. So solo mode is still, we're just finishing testing it for the time being, but it's going to, as soon as we have a solid version of it locked down, we'll be showing it to you in a separate video.
I think Stefan should come over and present it. Stefan has done the domination solo mode.
Yes.
Because I'm not a solo mode, designer. I don't play solo mode. Eric neither.
No.
So the idea is someone who loves playing solo mode must do it. So Stefan is doing these things. He has done, the dominations one. He's doing this one. It's a complicated one. It's not so easy because we have more actions, and the more action you get, the more complicated it becomes to make, an eye behind.
Yes.
So I'm really waiting for, the prototype to show it works. I'll be with it. And we have also worked on the KS exclusive mini expansions, the modern art.
Yes, modern art. So modern art we talked about in yesterday's update, the day before. It was the night we launched that we talked about it. So modern art, for those of you who haven't seen the update that we wrote, or even as a reminder for those of you who have, is basically about taking a rising artist under one's wing.
Yes. Because we have covered nearly from the Renaissance to the Impressionism. And due to copyrights, we can't go through the modern art because the painters have copyrights, the paintings have copyrights.
Sometimes even their names.
Absolutely. So it's so complicated to get the copyrights and so expensive at the end.
Very.
So we didn't cover this period.
No.
So in this way, we felt really with Eric, we felt disappointed by the fact we didn't cover this period. So we tried to find a way to, to go through these painters. And the idea is, at the beginning of the game, during the setup, every player drew 2 cards from the artist. Exactly. We choose one, so one per player, and we drew another one. So there is always number of players plus one.
Okay, so and we end up with cards like this. So these are all obviously prototypes, work in progress, apart from this one, which is fully illustrated.
Absolutely.
But to give you an idea of what they will look like. So basically what each card shows is obviously the face of the artist in question.
Yes, in that place it's Salvatore Dali.
Yes.
The youngest Salvatore Dali.
Yeah, because at the time that Museum Pictura is happening, all of these modern artists are much younger than...
Exactly, like Picasso, this way, this is the photo of Picasso we are working on to make the drawings.
Yes.
And but we can't name even Picasso, we can't name him because it's copyrighted. The idea is we have worked on, how do you call this? The
kind of like a pseudonym or a nickname or just kind of like, just a kind of description maybe.
Absolutely. So we have the drawings of the author, of the painter, the nickname, whatever it is. And we have what brings him inspirations.
Yes, we have the style and the period that this artist is passionate about. So in this case, we have Rococo and we have still life.
But the still life is more inspiring for him than the Rococo.
Yes.
So every painter has one which is +2 inspiration. And +1 inspiration.
Okay.
Sometimes you have period and a style. Sometimes you have two styles. And you don't have 2 periods. And we try to stick to the philosophy of the artist, which is complicated.
Yes, it's always difficult. Yeah.
And you have mechanics, so you have to balance everything. And we try to do this.
Wrangling the theme to fit the mechanics.
And the last value is the auction.
So this number is the amount of points that this artist is worth. Should you manage to coax them into your...
Absolutely. Yeah. The idea is, while during the game session, you are going to increase the value, the notoriety of the artist.
Yes.
And every time you play a favor card, as soon as you have done it, so for example, I've played this one, I get my 4 prestige point, whatever, or I draw 2 cards. Let's imagine I draw 2 cards. I can, if I want to, set aside a card.
Yes.
A painted card.
Yeah.
It's not my...
So you're not discarding into your discard pile.
It's on the other side of your board.
You're bidding it, essentially.
Exactly.
It's a bid.
But it's
a hidden bid.
It's hidden.
Yeah. It's a secret auction.
And you will make the auction by the end of the game.
Yes.
But for the moment, you set aside a card and you try, or you bluff, to set up a card which could fit to the
one or several of the artists.
Exactly. Yeah. So, for example... Yeah, I don't have some.
Let's have a go.
Okay, I have one. So let's imagine I put this Renoir, I set aside this Renoir. Yeah. This Renoir could fit for a Frida Kahlo or for this nice gentleman. Yeah. So because the
So if I were to use this Velasquez portrait, for example, so that would fit here, but also here. So I could, I'm bidding a card, which I'm going to then lose, quotation marks.
You lose because this is your investment on modern art, on artists, which could, make some exposition later. Later in your museum.
Yeah. So you are essentially investing that card. It cannot be retrieved once it's been invested, and you are hoping to become essentially that artist's patron. And
absolutely. And during the game, you play the favor cards. You set aside a card, and by this way, you can increase the value of the notoriety of the artist.
Yes, absolutely.
So if I choose this one, as every artist starts with a value of 5, which will be the victory point by the end of the game if you bring this artist to your museum. But if I increase this, say, look, now I've put a countryside, this card, set aside this card. Yeah. By this way, I can increase this artist because if I win it, I will get this victory point by the end of the game.
So it can go all the way up to 9. Obviously,
13 or 13.
Oh, sorry, 13.
Yeah, because you have
double-sided.
The both side.
So these will be tokens.
Yeah.
So each time you play a favour card, you can bid, and each time you bid, you can also increase the value of an artist.
Of one of them.
Yes, obviously, as you increase the value of an artist, you're also letting the other players know
what you set aside.
You might be going
for. Or your bluff.
Or you're bluffing, which Eric does a lot
all the time.
Terrible effect.
It's a bluff. It's bluffing all the time.
Very ineffectual.
Badly.
Yeah. It's very funny to watch. Yeah. But yeah, it's so you are essentially bidding and bluffing, or not bluffing, as it may be, and hoping that at the end of the game, when all the players reveal the cards that they bid, you will be the player that got the most. So when I say bid and when I say got the most, what I mean is, for example, here for this card, by bidding this portrait card, as it's one of the topics that this artist is inspired by, I'm going to get 2 points, not prestige points, but sort of value points towards tempting this artist into my museum.
Bringing him into your museum. Yeah. So every player is going to bid from the card set aside during the game and to bring. So by the end of the game, you have at least 20 prestige points to gain by the end of the game, plus the increased value for during the game that you have done.
Yeah.
Knowing that, we know that we are going to play at least 5 to 6 favor cards per player.
Yes. Yeah.
So we know we can increase the value of the card of the artist by 6 at the end.
Yeah.
So it's roughly 26 points plus your favor cards. It could be 32 to share or not share.
Or not.
Because I could take everything.
Yeah.
The only thing is you have to think about this. Yeah. So again, it increases a little bit the complexity of the game because you have to think about this, and you can't let someone do it alone.
Yeah.
Because it's 30 points by the end of the game.
No.
Especially...
You can't let one player take it all.
Absolutely. Because if you calculate everything and you know the other one is not playing, your investment's only 4 cards, one for each artist.
Yeah.
And it's nothing compared to the value you gain.
Yeah, absolutely. So... basically, to give you guys an example, if at the end of the game, these were the 3 cards that I had contributed, then for this artist, the visagiste, I would get 2 points for this portrait, because a portrait is worth 2 in terms of inspiration for this artist. I would get another 2 for this card, and then I would get 1 for this. So my total inspiration value for that is 5, yeah.
So we are bidding, so we are making, and at the moment you say, stop, I can't bid more.
Yeah.
So you start from the left to the right.
Yeah.
And doing in this order.
Yeah.
So you know the order at the beginning, and you have to prepare everything.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's, with the landscape, it's all the portrait. Mm-hmm. You know that if you have both, these paintings, and you stop at the first, you keep some paintings by the end, some investment to get the last one.
So you have to decide which one.
You start with this one, this one. So if you say, no, I don't want this one, for any reason.
Sure.
So, and I play only 1 card, and I have still in my hand some portrait and landscape.
Yeah.
It's no problem, because I could get the other one. So during the game, I might do with portrait and landscape, but bid on these 2 cards, 2 artists.
Okay.
And maybe not increase the value of the others, because...
Sure, because they're very different, and perhaps I have less chance of... Or... perhaps, if I'm lucky, I might be the only one to do that. Because, admittedly, that might be a choice that's more than one player would make.
And let's imagine you pay 1 card, only 1, to get this one.
Yes.
It's a ratio of 5 victory points, or at least 5, for 1 investment card.
Yes.
Which is gruesome,
It is. Well, so that is modern art. That is the gist of how it works. We will most probably make a video at some point, explaining more in detail exactly how it works. But yeah, it's basically a secret auction kind of mechanic, which can be worth a lot of points to you.
Yeah, and we didn't want to bring any in-game scoring, because we are already, we earn a lot of victory point during a game. So we don't want to speed up the game session.
Yeah.
So, and to have, an elegant way to play with the favorite card. Yeah. So, which is everyone play favorite cards. You need to play favorite cards.
You do. Yeah.
So in that way, you have to, but you have to prepare your shot, because you have to keep 1 card in your hand.
Yeah.
Prepare the one, because, for example, for this one, I might try to find the right paintings, which is still life and rococo, and in 1 card is 3 value. So if I can't find this one, I might pick up this one.
Yes.
Keep it in my hands to prepare when I'm going to play the favorite card. You need to anticipate a little bit your game session.
Yeah, obviously, and every card that you bid is a card that you cannot use for anything else. So it's a choice you have to make, and it may pay off, and it might not, but it could be potentially worth quite a lot. The dog has come to say hello. So yeah, it's it can be it can be quite the choice to make during the game. Everybody, Maestro, everybody. Maestro the dog. That is the gist of modern art. We have lots of other, obviously, daily unlocks planned for the rest of the campaign. We will be doing one of these live videos each week to talk about them.
Yeah, sure.
For the time being, we have some new patron cards, which are like style-based patrons. So basically, they are going to give you more of these little constantly changing objectives during the game.
More difficult one, but with different powers, different victory points at the end. You know, it's because you have to choose between the victory point or the power that the card offer you.
Yeah.
And you have very difficult one.
Yeah.
Some, with combo, so you can combo with this one, playing cards, getting favorite cards, taking cards, and so on. So you have to work with this, and it is really interesting, this one. And you have such, renew every game session is completely different.
Yes,
because you have tournament, I say 70 cards. At the end, we might have 100, nearly 100 cards.
Yeah. I love the inventory mechanic in this as well, where every time you do an inventory, you can actually get rid of all of the patron cards currently on the board and renew them. And if you are down on your luck a bit and the patron cards that are currently out aren't the cards that would interest you, then you can get rid of them. And it makes an inventory feel less like you're losing a turn, essentially. So because you get the favour card and you get this as well, so it's great. To come round to questions that people have been asking, so not on this particular video, but in our French video earlier, we had someone ask about the player boards and if they would be double-sided, which they were in the original museum game.
Indeed. The problem is it doesn't fit to these mechanics.
It doesn't work as well, we found.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have two complications.
Yeah.
The size of the board and this new part of the board, which is where you put your tokens.
Oh, your tokens,
on
sure.
your exposition.
So we have less space available.
You have less spaces.
And it's already a big board.
It's already a big board. So we should have increased the size of the player board, which is complicated because the game takes a lot of place.
Yeah.
And furthermore, the mechanics, because, for example, the Grand Gallery, we decrease the value of the Grand Gallery. You do it. Most of the time, you can do it.
You can do it,
It's much more easier to do this.
Making a collection of 9 cards in Museum Pictura is much easier. And also getting different collections to lock together is much easier as well, because you don't have the mechanic of the original game where
for the domain, it was limited to the different civilization.
Yeah.
In that way, you are not limited in that.
No, you're not.
Just the limitation is how I can, the idea is to use the romanticism and the mythology.
Yes.
And the story.
So really what you need is every card that you place, ideally, needs to be part of 2 collections.
Absolutely.
Every card you place, that's a big promise to make. But
and that's the complexity of the game.
Yeah,
it's how I can increase the value of one card, the ratio of one card in terms of prestige point by the end of the game, in terms of collection, or in terms because I get, the trend cards and it answers to the trend cards and so on.
Yeah.
And that's the complexity.
Absolutely.
The problem with the other museum is that it's so easy that having some different aspects of the museum doesn't fit.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't really bring anything extra to the game, which we felt that the alternative museum layouts in the original game did. So we've decided not to do them this time. Also, they require kind of like a lot of space on the board to be able to do the different configurations. And apart from make the boards even bigger, and they're already big, there's no real way to do it. No. And most importantly, we really didn't feel like it brought anything new to the game, which is why we're not going to be doing it.
No, we have thought about different things which come up, in the campaign on how I can add things in my museum.
Sure. Yeah.
So it will be some expansions, some stretch goals, or whatever you will see.
Yeah.
But we have thought about different things.
Yeah.
How can I increase? I can set up differently my museum.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have 2 expansions coming, so we'll be announcing one next week and one for the final week of the campaign. Really excited, actually, to tell you about those.
Yeah, but the expansions was also complicated for us, for the authors. And the idea was not to replicate what we have done for the first museum, the first opus.
You could have copied the expansions.
The World's Fair could fit perfectly.
Would have worked fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and it would be, copy paste. It was not the goal. We wanted to add more theme into the expansion.
Yeah.
The archaeologists couldn't fit,
It didn't match the theme. It wouldn't.
So we have brought 2 expansions, plus the Kickstarter exclusive, and it broke new things, new mechanics.
Yeah.
A more theme on the for the one next week. It brings something else,
something new, something that's really specific to the theme that was chosen.
The
for
paintings,
this game. Also just the Roaring Twenties in general,
absolutely.
And the kind of that kind of sort of fun feel of the Roaring Twenties that we wanted to come across a bit in the game in some way, and so the expansions are really kind of how that's been done.
Exactly, and it was really our purpose to bring something new for the game.
Yeah.
Pictura is new in the museum sequel. You know what I mean?
It's most definitely is a sequel to the original game without being just a copy or a reiteration. And we have had a lot of questions about this. Hopefully in all of the videos that we've done, this will come across. For anybody that knows the original game, you will see after just a few turns of watching how this is played that it's very different. And it's a great game in its own right. If you haven't played the original museum, then there's a good chance that you will love this. We've had Slicker Drips who played
absolutely for the first time because he didn't play the first opus.
No, he didn't know anything about the original museum at all, and we sent him the prototype of this, and he played it and he really enjoyed it. So we have his first impressions video on the Kickstarter page, and he also did a full playthrough if that interests you guys. And if you have enjoyed the original museum and you're wondering whether or not this is worth getting, obviously we can't decide for you, but
and you can't play exactly the same as you did the first opus. If you have played the first museum, and you want to play exactly the same, the same tempo, same mechanics. You are going to be. It's going to be hard.
It won't work.
It won't work. Absolutely.
No, it won't.
And when you jump from one opus to the others, you say,
what is this?
Remember Owen the first time he played? He said, I has done 15 points. He said, I don't understand why you are finished. I'm still there. Because you have so many cards you can expose in your museum that you want to expose everything.
Yes.
And you completely forget how to score.
Because
by putting cards in the museum, you don't score anything.
You don't score anything, no. And unless you manage to do the public trend card. But that's tough. And a lot of the time what comes out on the public trend card isn't necessarily going to coincide with what you're trying to achieve. So it's definitely a strategy to just go everything else out the window and I'll try and do these. But, in the end, any collections that you have and that you're going to be scoring during the game with your temporary exhibitions, you're going to be scoring them again at the end of the game. So, that you have a lot of things to think about. It really is a different playing sensation completely. But obviously remaining in the set collection genre. And as you said earlier, it has the museum flavour. But it really is something else. So
it's like Canada Dry, it has this flavour. But Canada Dry,
Sure. So I mean it's going great so far. I have completely forgotten where we were going with this. But what were we talking about? We always go off track. The general flavour. We're just hungry now. It's that time of night. We'll get there.
So we are in the swamp now.
Now we're in the swamp. We were talking about the expansions. That's what we were talking about. So there are 2 of those coming. Looking forward to telling you guys more
some
about
of the stretch goals, because I think we have some...
We haven't revealed them yet, but we have some different types of favour cards coming, which are really a different feel to the ones that are currently being played with.
It's much more close to black market.
Yes,
really, I would say interactive cards.
Yes, interactive, as in if I took a 2x4 and hit you in the face with it, that would be interactive.
Exactly.
It's a more they allow for more aggressive.
A little bit of take that.
Sure.
And people like this. I'm not the kind of player with take that, but Eric is much more a take that player.
Yeah, really?
Yes, it is.
I'm surprised. I would have been you.
He's vicious. He's a vicious guy.
It's because he can't win against you any other way. He has to use those cards.
No. Last Friday, it was tremendous. He has lost all the game session.
Oh no!
But you can mix these new cards into this deck, or just play only with this, or not. It depends on what you want to have in your game session.
Absolutely. So if this is the kind of, if you're looking for a little bit of more aggressive play and you would like to sort of have something a little bit different in your favourite cards, you can mix them in or you can leave them out if you don't want to.
And we didn't want to make an expansion for this. Because black market, you have all the object plus the cards, the favourite cards from the black market. But in that way, it was complicated to have the black market there. Because it's still paintings. And making an expansion just for cards would be really weird. So we wanted to have this because some players like this. And it gives a different flavor on the game session.
It's a different type of interaction.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, there's already a fair amount of player interaction in the game, I feel, in that you do have to keep an eye on what other players are doing, especially on the score tracker, because obviously the game finishes when you reach 50.
You decide when you want to end.
But being the one who decides when the game ends is a real advantage, and I know that I always want to play one more turn because I find it very satisfying. The mechanic that, and it's in the same way as the original museum, but I think magnified slightly. It's very satisfying to just be placing your cards and placing your cards. And I love the collections that I'm making, and I just want one more turn.
And most of the time, you are not frustrated by the card because you have the card that you want.
Yes.
And most of the time, you say, I can't leave this in my hand, so I'm going to add one more round. Yeah. The problem with this is invaluable by the end of the game.
Yeah, sure.
Because the opponent, and you really have to take care about your opponents.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you are going to blow up.
Yeah. You have to watch what they're doing, how fast they're going, what they have in their discard. Also,
you see the timing.
Yeah.
When someone has no card in his discard pile, he has everything set up for a last exposure. You know he's going to trigger the end of the game. So you must control what is he doing.
Yeah.
And you try to guess.
Yeah.
What is he doing? What is his trend card? And you know by the end of the game where he's going.
Sure.
So you can say, it's going to be difficult, or I can have one more round. And the cards or the action I'm going to take to get rid of my card there, or to make a new exposition, or whatever. Will give me more value at the end of the game.
Sure. Well, it's very. There are definitely two ways to play Museum Pictura. So for those of you who are expert players or experienced players who are listening to the things that Olivier is saying and thinking, yeah, I would play like that, then you absolutely can play Pictura in a really expert way. If you want to just play it the kind of way I do, where you're just kind of like happily putting cards onto your board, and then at the end of the game you're excited to see what your final score is once everyone, then you can absolutely play it like that as well. And both ways are very satisfying.
Absolutely, because you have much more control on the game than in the first opus. But it was we wanted to do this.
Sure.
In the first opus, the idea is, if I can't get the cards I have in my hands, what can I do?
Sure.
And I can do many things. On the second opus, you have the cards that you want most of the time. So you control your game, and is how I can control better than the other one. And you don't have this frustration, say, I don't have the card, I don't have the collection, I don't have the things. So I'm controlling what I'm doing. I'm getting my point through the number of expositions, the value of my collections, how many times I'm going to score my collections. So this is much more a controlling game than the first opus.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. I think we've covered just about everything. We have
hopefully
we have one question in the comments, which is, who is the dog? The dog is called Maestro. He is Olivier's dog. He's not my dog, but
he's crying when I'm not there.
So
it's under the table and he's sleeping.
So we try and keep him out of the studio, but he does cry when Olivier's in here and he's not allowed to come in. So we let him come in and sleep under the table. So he's down there somewhere. Yep, there he is. Hopefully this has answered everybody's questions. If you have any more, obviously, please do let us know.
Maestro is in Rallyman GT.
Maestro is also hidden somewhere in Rallyman GT.
Yes,
if you haven't found Maestro in the Rallyman GT box yet, then try and find him. He is somewhere in the game. We'll
Absolutely.
If you have any questions about Museum Pictura, then and Maestro, then
Maestro fits.
Maestro fits
with the game.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. So we will answer you, I will answer you in the comment section of this video. We will answer you in the comment section of the Kickstarter page. If you've already backed us on Kickstarter, thank you so much. If you haven't backed us on Kickstarter, then perhaps one of these videos will come some way to convincing you to back. We will see you soon, most probably next week, for another live video and more videos to come for the expansion.
Yes, absolutely. Very good one.
Thanks ever so much, everybody, and have a nice evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are.